Okay, guys, I gotta level with you. Being an SSPX parishioner sucks, and here are 10 reasons why that is. So, if anyone's thinking about becoming a parishioner of the Society of St. Pius X, watch to the end. You need to hear about all this and consider if you can handle these problems before you make that step. Because it really does cost you quite a bit. Problems with the SSPX, just outright. Number one, cases like the firing of Bishop Strickland will never happen. So, as you know, Bishop Strickland was a bishop in Texas who would support the Latin Mass in his diocese and would fight for it. Eventually, Pope Francis just removed him because he wouldn't remove the Latin Mass and wouldn't allow martyrdom to be preached in his diocese. If we do not allow Pope Francis to prohibit the preaching of the Catholic faith, what is going to become of the Catholic faith? That's the party of the Catholic faith. I mean, what else? What's going to happen next? If we next are we going to allow priests preach about morality, confession, about transubstantiation from the pulpit, about how various sins are wrong, or maybe you might even have to think about the possibility that being a Catholic might involve things other than kowtowing to Francis and whatever he happens to think is right at any given point in time. Keeping him and the bishop happy is what being Catholic is all about. It's not about transubstantiation, the Virgin Mary, and everything the Catholic Church has dogmatically defined for 2,000 years. That's side stuff, and it's a nice optional extra. What is going to become to the Catholic faith if you allow the Catholic faith to preach in your parishes and the Pope is unable and being hindered from moving him? That is complete disobedience. That is breaking union with the See of Peter if you do not allow bishops to preach the Catholic faith to be removed. Number two, the Immaculata, all those years ago, and Pope Francis white martyred and suppressed an entire traditionalist order. I will probably never get a chance to be white martyred by my own on such a level. I will probably never, because Pope Francis felt like it, or local bishop felt like it, have my entire SSPX community just wiped out on a whim. I will never get a chance to be white martyred and have that merits before God. That sucks. That I will. How will I be able to look for the apostles in heaven if all I can do is just go to the Latin Mass, hear Orthodox Catholic preaching, keep the faith, and invite others to Latin Mass and evangelize and actually win souls? But how am I going to be white martyred if my if every option for hearing the Catholic faith is not going to be utterly completely quashed at the whims of a modernist bishop without any chance of recourse? What's going to happen? Like, no respect for unity of the church if we don't allow that. No, number three, no heresy. You know how when I was attending the Novus Ordo, I would play a car ride on the way home. It was called "How Heretical Was the Sermon Today?" We would try to. It was a great way to evangelize, teach the kids the faith by pointing out all the heresies the priest or the deacon spoke from the pulpit today. You'd hear Protestantism, Calvinism. One time I even got Arianism or semi-Arianism, and various other heresies. Sometimes new heresies would just be invented that haven't been named yet properly because they're so niche and so rare, and they happen in the pulpit all the time. It was a great way to educate the youth about the Catholic faith because the priest would constantly say everything that was contrary to the Catholic faith, and you'd have to point it out constantly. You'd have to keep yourself on your toes. You know how hard it is to hear heresy from an SSPX priest? You have to really keep on your toes, and even then, sometimes there's just nothing there. It's like, yeah, kid, yeah, just listen to him. Like everything he says is good. Where's the opportunity to teach the kids that faith and the finer points in detail if the priest is not constantly preaching the most absurd and ridiculous heresies? Number four, bishop cannot cancel Latin mass venues. I know pretty well sometimes it can happen if the bishop tries really, really hard and puts his heart and soul into it. He can like blackmail the venue. That happened once in an area with a funeral. Uh, hey, martyrdom. Hey, people got to be martyred and offer their that suffering for the souls in purgatory who died. Yay! But it's really hard. The bishop has to try really hard, and he's got a lot on his plate. He has to like call, threaten to blackmail funeral homes and other venues that let us host our Latin mass. If we were totally dependent on the diocese, we could be gaslit, treated like second class citizens. We could have a computer for 1 week if we have a good bishop. The next moment the bishop gets changed out, or the bishop just gets bored, changes his mind, we could be shoved into a side chapel, maybe parish hall basement, as someone is doing cleaning with a vacuum cleaner, maybe sent to the toxic waste side of town. Now, pretty well, any decent venue is an option, and I pretty well know it's boring. I know where I'm going to go to mass. Where am I going to go to mass this time? Now that the priest is coming in. Oh yeah, same place as usual. Should I supposed to keep my mouth shut? Oh yeah, the bishop's probably not going to be able to cancel the mass venue because it's not dependent on his whims. Like, I don't have to worry about speaking my mind about the Catholic faith or against modernism. I don't have. It's what's the motivation for even speaking against modernism if there isn't a risk of getting canceled and having the whole parish kicked out because you accidentally stepped on the bishop's toes slightly. And also other things. There's a lot of loss of zeal in the parishes. Again, no one fights for the rosary. No one fights for Latin in these Nova and SSPX churches. No one fights for the rosary or for Latin because it's already there. Like every mass, you guarantee you hear the rosary. Suppose maybe I could fight for us saying the rosary in Latin, but that's not the same. To like have an entire, I mean, the opportunity of being in a Novus Ordo parish and have everyone around you completely ignorant and willfully toxic towards the rosary, and the opportunity to evangelize that, even though, yeah, if you say anything, you'll probably be kicked out, lashed, insulted, and get PTSD. But like everyone just wants to say the rosary, and it's matter of fact, and they want the Latin. Which brings me to the next problem. It's impossible to drag teens to traditional Latin mass. Usually, half the time they're there before the parents are. Like, you know how hard it is to evangelize youth when they know the faith and hold it more firmly than you do? People can, like, do you know how messed up and strange it is that the Catholic kids know the Catholic faith better than their elders? This is a topsy-turvy, bizarre situation. Totally bizarre. Also, like, it's not good for building mental resilience. There is no, I never don't have PTSD whenever the priest changes, wondering if he's going to actually teach the Catholic faith. Before Novus Ordo parishes, I was always wondering, is the new parish priest going to be Catholic? It was always like a capshoot. This time it might be a Buddhist. This time he might be crypto Protestant or evangelical Protestant, or maybe kind of like some sort of soft Catholic. But every time a priest comes in, he's always a hardcore Catholic and loves the Catholic faith, loves Catholic heritage, Catholic tradition, and often he's good at defending it from an apologetic point of view, and is bending over backwards to give people last rites. I never have to scream. I'm never gonna have to scream at a priest to bring me last rites. He's gonna come in, drive in, who know, even to get a plane at a cost of $1,000 just to give me last rites when I die. Like, there's no way I'm gonna be ever gonna be able to complain that the priest didn't give me last rites because he was too busy playing golf or hockey or whatever. Like, you know what? Like, how am I supposed to earn merits for heaven when I can't get PTSD? How am I supposed to do that when I can't get PTSD about basic Catholic orthodoxy at an SSPX chapel? You can't. I used to be able to get that all the time at Nova Sordo. which brings me to the next problem. There's no opportunity to learn about interfaith with the SSPX. When you go to an SSPX chapel, what you get? Books by St. Therese of Lisieux, Uriem's approved Bibles, Catholic Bibles that have been approved for centuries by the Catholic Church, approved translations, works of scholarship. The worst thing you'll get is like some hardline defense of Catholic theology by an SSPX priest or devotional on the Rosary. In the Nova Scotia Parish, I would get works by. My old Nova Scotia Parish library had the Quran, it had Hans Kung, it had all these, basically anything that wasn't Catholic, you could probably find in the parish library. And if you want to find anything Catholic, you had to Google it online. Now they literally have like sale tables to buy traditional or the most hardline, hardcore Orthodox Catholic books of all time at every SSPX mission. And I live out in the boonies. Like, how am I supposed to find interfaith at a Latin Mass chapel? How am I supposed to find my Hans Kung and everything that is not Catholic if the local traditional Catholic chapel isn't offering it? And the biggest 10 problem is that once you become SSPX, everyone agrees that you need to be part of the big C Catholic Church to be saved. When I was in the Nova Scotia parish, I had lots of opportunities to evangelize people who did not believe that. Like absolutely everyone, including the parish priests, and they would all deny it even when I showed them positive evidence that the previous ecumenical councils and popes have dogmatically defined that outside the big C Catholic Church there is no salvation multiple times over. Didn't matter how hard I tried, they were hard nuts, and I was able to get a lot of merit every single day teaching them, trying to convince Catholics to believe the most basic Catholic doctrine, even I was shoving the most brutally obvious evidence in front of their faces on a daily basis. As a SSPXer, everyone agrees with me on that outside the Catholic Church is no salvation, that ecumenism is sin. Even the modernists, when they start dealing with me, start making an exception and say, oh, you need to be part of the big C Catholic Church, and never mind the fact that I know that even them, even the modernists who do the interfaith worship and believe that Buddha is a great saint and should be venerated as an official saint by the Catholic Church, even those people are telling me outside the big C Catholic Church there is no salvation, even though they tell everyone else that they can be saved in every religion because they want to gaslight me into becoming one of them again and keep me woke and happy. And and in their parish so they can be gaslight and bully me again. Even they're telling me outside the Catholic Church there's no salvation now. There's no point in me even trying to defend the process anymore. And they even try to to the point we even try to pretend that in actuality they actually believe outside the church there's no salvation all along. They'll even proudly try to say that. Even though when I was with them, they were literally telling me that you can be saved in any religion, didn't even need to believe in Jesus or even God at all. So everyone believes. So once you become SSPX, everyone believes outside of the Catholic Church there's no salvation. These are all problems I've had to deal with when it comes SSPX, and like even if I was like maybe it could be priestly fraternity of St. Peter, then at least I could be stuck in a trad bubble and occasionally get the gaslighting and have to worry about if my Latin mass will be pulled up by the bishop because he's got mad at something someone happened to randomly say online. Like maybe then, if I was fraternity of St. Peter, maybe I could help have camaraderie with a priest who was absolutely petrified of mentioning most basic deity Catholic dogmas from a pulpit because he's afraid the bishop will ban the Latin Mass. Maybe if I were a fraternity of St. Peter, I could do that. I really envy you guys in fraternity of St. Peter. You have a lot of chances for white martyrdom that we in the SSPX simply don't. Anyway, if you think you can tolerate, I suppose you could check out the SSPX chapel, or if you want to endure all these things and be white martyred, check out the Nova Scotia Parish. God bless, have a great day. And yes, this was satire. In case you're wondering, proudly SSPX. Don't care how regular they are, how irregular SSPX is. The Nova Scotia is even more irregular. for the exact reasons I mentioned. Like, seriously, canon law being bent versus divine law being positively broken. I'd have to break divine law to keep the canon law. I'm gonna keep God's law, because without God's law, there is no canon law. God bless. Have a great day. Definitely check an SSPX chaplain near you, or if you don't have one, contact your local district, see if you can get one sent in, or at least make sure they're aware of you so they can keep you in your prayers. Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum, benedicta tu mulieribus et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria Mater, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. God bless.